Question number 1. Who are your biggest influences?
Influences? I don't have any influences.
I'd say probably my biggest influences are my friends. For better or worse.
Connor is a big influence, my best friend. Let's see. Can musicians count? Matt Carter of Emory. Just a freaking genius on the guitar. Ryan Clark and Don Clark, two brothers for Invisible Creature design firm. They do some fantastic illustrations, and I love them.
Well, my high school teacher is Mr. Papple. He's definitely a big influence. Not just teaching, but just advice in general. Just the kind of person that's always there for someone and for a lot of people. A lot of influences author-wise. C.S. Lewis would be a huge influence too. Things that he wrote. And I think that'll do for a general summary.
Well, I'd have to say my husband for one, because you become like each other when you're married to somebody for a long time. So probably Benji. I'm a lot like my grandma, I would say. So she raised me for the first 6 years of my life, and I'm just like, wow, because they say those are like the influential years, you know, and I've been told that all my life, that I like respond a lot like her. So I'd say my grandma, somewhat my dad, and my husband.
I guess my parents influenced me into life on this earth. Tyler Monk has been a big influence. Benjamin Linya also been an influence.
The Maharishi for Transcendental Meditation. That was somebody I used to really like. It's probably why I am like I am.
Just strong, I guess strong people that would stand up for what they believe and not afraid what other people say about it. Anybody that's open, you know. Just people that are open-minded.
My mother, Martin Luther King, I don't know, anyone who fought for equality ever. You know, I mean, I've been fighting for equality since I could talk. So
I don't know. I mean, there's, I guess, the typical ones that people would say, like, I try and look up to people like Dr. King and Mother Teresa and people like that. But I think the bigger influences that I've had in my life have been just random people that I've met. Like, if I were to really talk about people that have actually influenced my life, it would probably be like this guy Abraham that just showed up in the park and gave me $20 to go feed homeless people, because I wouldn't have done it if he hadn't shown up. So I think it's the random people that you meet along the journey that are actually the bigger influence, and I guess the celebrity influencers are just kind of inspiration.
Let me see, I take from, I'm going to sound like a sozo, but I would take from different philosophers, and like Derrida, or Lit Theory, Calvino, the writer, oh my gosh, I sound like a snob, and my mom, and my grandmother, and Immanuel Kant and his Sublime and Imperatives and snotty things like that, and a little bit of a touch of Prince. Okay, so gotta have the funk.
What is beautiful to you?
The smile of a child, nature, you know, just being outside, the trees, wind, The mountains. I really miss the mountains. Not that I lived in Colorado or anything, but Pennsylvania has mountains. They're not huge, but they're mountains.
Beautiful is what you make it. You can find beauty in pretty much anything. Beauty in nature, beautiful in the ugly. You know, just you choose to see what you want to see.
Nature, people, places, things, nouns in general.
People who have the ability to be themselves without thinking about what others think of them.
I've always kind of felt like there are these moments in time where you just sort of stop, I guess you could say, and there's just something indescribable about them. That's sort of what I think of when I think of beauty.
Number 3, what is the easiest thing you've ever done?
Loving my children. Loving my wife, not so easy. Realizing and admitting that I love my wife wasn't easy. Loving other people isn't easy. But loving my children has been the easiest thing that I've ever done.
To worry. I'm really good at that. I can, and I'm good at over-analyzing and turning things inside out and worrying because I turn them over inside out. And it's really easy to me. It's natural, you know?
I think probably the thing that comes easiest to me is like showing love to people who are typically not loved or maybe haven't gotten it. There was no question whether or not that person needed to be shown love and affection or needed to be told how loved they were or how worthy they were or whatever. I guess maybe that's the easiest thing that comes to me. And loving my dog. I loved him pretty quickly.
I'd say growing up. It's pretty easy. Kind of happens on its own. Quitting smoking was pretty easy.
Number 4, what do you want to change in the world?
I think first I need to change myself before I change the world. There are definitely, I wish people were more open and understanding of one another. And I think that fortunately, if you set yourself as an example for that, somebody will follow suit.
I probably want to change the world to allow people to see that they can change the world themselves, because I think a lot of people depend on other people to do it or depend on organizations, and they don't realize that the things that they care about are just as important as things that other people care about. Like, it doesn't have to be saving the world or curing cancer, doing whatever. If it's important to you, then you can do it yourself, and you can do something for a positive change. I think I would help people see that.
Less pain. Like, yeah, I always kind of felt like if you could do anything, there's a lot of messed up stuff in the world, and if you could do anything to help it just a little, even though sometimes it seems like you're fighting against a current that you're never going to win, and you may not, but I feel like you should fight against it anyway. But yeah, me personally, what I would like to change in the world is to try to help people go through things that they couldn't do and kind of stop the needless pain. I mean, like a surgeon, I mean, someone's got a bullet in them, you gotta cause them pain to relieve their pain later. So pain's necessary, but try to get rid of all the stupid junk that happens, I guess.
I like to change people who, you know, think that they're alone in what they're going through, and, you know, whether they, you know, have a boyfriend who doesn't tell them they love them, or their girlfriend cheats on them, or, you know, they're dealing with, you know, self-injury or thoughts of suicide or depression or whatever it is. I'd like to change the idea that they're alone or that they feel alone. Can do too. I'd like to change the way women are viewed in society, because even though we're so progressive and everything, we still have so many societal norms that are just, you know, they down women, and they really, they use the idea of being feminine or feminizing as a bad thing. Like a guy, gets upset and, gets angry over something. They say, hey, calm down, you're PMSing, I'd like to change that.
I hate the way the media today makes people feel about themselves. I hate how women who have eating disorders and don't feel good about themselves but project confidence because they have to for their job are put up on pedestals, and little girls see that and want to be like that and don't realize that you can be yourself and be happy with who you are as a person and it just not be everything aesthetic. I mean, I think it's a really big problem in magazines and TV. I mean, I don't even like for kids to get a hold of fashion magazines. I think it's terrible that people sell sex, essentially. I don't think, I mean, it wasn't always like that and people got along just fine. I think it should be like that again. I would definitely change that because it would cause a lot of self-esteem issues that kids have to go away. Kids who are overweight and are picked on and end up killing themselves because they can't take the stress of everybody judging them and thinking that they should be something that they're not. I hate that. That's what I would change.
It's a loaded question there. I want to change everybody's attitude about politics, and well, you want to change their attitude. I just want people to be more open-minded to different things in life, because there are some people that think they believe a certain way and they think that's the way it is, and I don't agree with that because none of us know anything for sure. I would just, like people to be open-minded about everything and not be so adamant about what they believe is what is, because no one, in my opinion, no one knows for sure what anything is.
People, yeah, because it's like people that just too damn serious, and it's like they need to just relax and chill, and just take life as it is. It's not that big of a deal. Just chill. Don't get stressed over it. It's not worth it.
I want to change myself. Always try to not attain perfection, but strive for it, both in mind and body and spirit.
I wish that I could make people look at each other. I think that's the thing that I think would change everything. If we actually looked at each other and realized... I mean, just not even we came to some advanced revelation, but if we just looked at each other. Like, I've gone out and held a sign along the side of the road like homeless people do. And people will just pull up in a car and they'll be right there next to me and they won't even look. Like, they're programmed not to look because they don't want to see it. And I think if people would just look, then it would change everything. And so if I could take one thing, if I could institute a day that everybody had to do something, it would just be that they would look at each other.